1 second. Yeah, I think yeah, this is an appropriate visual. They get dispatched to Earth for more energon cubes. Laserbeak spies on the Autobots, listens to Optimus Prime and Ironhide's discussion. Goes back to Cybertron, tells Megatron, and Megatron says, "Okay, we're going to intercept these guys." And so they attack these guys on the way to Earth. And something happens during this battle that we had never seen in the cartoon series up to that point, which was some of the characters started dying. So the Decepticons invade their shuttle. Megatron transforms into the gun, the pistol, and they start gunning down the Autobots. And I mean, and again, in the cartoon, they're shooting each other, and they knock each other down. Maybe they temporarily disable one another. But in this movie, the energy blasts are flying right through them. So as a kid, you're seeing, wow, these guys are getting killed right away. And these are characters that you kind of formed a bit of an attachment to over those many years coming home from school. And so these are characters that you kind of gotten to know, and they're dying. This is Prowler right here. His eyes kind of flash out, and the smoke starts coming from his mouth. And it was kind of jarring to see, and then at the end of that scene, Ironhide wasn't completely killed, and he's hanging on for life, and he's trying, Megatron saying, "Okay, yeah, we got the shuttle now, so we're gonna go to Autobot City and we're gonna decimate these guys." And Ironhide, grabs onto Megatron's leg, and he kind of says, no, with the rest of his energy left, and Megatron says, "Hey, such heroic nonsense," and he blasts him. And so as a kid, again, this is kind of big because you didn't see these characters die before. So that was new. This scene, which when I watch it to this day, still gives me goosebumps. Optimus Prime looks out over the city and says, "Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost." So he transforms. You hear the touch by Stan Bush, and that sets up the final battle between Megatron and Optimus Prime, which ends up being a battle to the death. And that battle is Optimus Prime has him beat, but the battle is turned when Hot Rod interferes. And during that interference, Megatron is able to fatally wound Optimus Prime in the process of him getting fatally wounded himself. And so that kind of ends Act 1. The Decepticons retreat from Autobot City. The Autobots have suffered a number of casualties, the main one being Optimus Prime. So Optimus Prime lays on his deathbed, and during that time, he announces that Ultra Magnus, who's voiced by Robert Stack, is going to be the new leader of the Autobots. And then at that moment, where it's revealed that there's something called the Autobot Matrix of Leadership, and so Optimus Prime passes the Autobot Matrix of Leadership to Ultra Magnus and tells him, "This was passed to me, and I'm passing it to you because in our darkest hour, Autobot is going to rise from our ranks to light our darkest hour." So Ultra Magnus is given the Autobot Matrix of Leadership. He's entrusted with it. And so I remember me, my brother, my father, we left the movie theater, and as a kid, I loved it. I wasn't sure what I had just seen, because again, a lot of the characters that some of the toys that I had, some of the characters that I had developed an emotional attachment to, were either not mentioned in the movie or got killed. Speaking of getting killed, one memorable line from the movie, I remember in the theater, my dad, when Optimus Prime died, my dad said, Optimus Prime just lost his color. So Optimus Prime, when he died, he turned black and white. Again, we'd never seen that before, but I remember my dad saying that, oh, he lost his color. And those are my memories. That's a walkthrough of what happened. But going away at that time, again, a lot of the characters that I knew and loved got killed off. Some of them weren't even mentioned. There was no mention of the aerial bots or the Protectobots or any of the other characters that had come along as the TV series evolved. Many of them got the original cast got killed off, like Wheeljack and Prowl and Ratchet and Ironhide, and many of the bad guys we knew got killed off, but there were some that were just never mentioned again. Now, after the movie, and I'm going to drop the link in the chat if anyone, I have a few viewers here. If you want to come in and say your